ago. Thought that
Welcome back to another coffee time. Welcome to the channel, Grand Colombia. It's another day in Armenia, Colombia. No, actually, the blue sky's out. It's been a little overcast. A couple days ago, yet again, we had this big cloud burst. It was so strong. I was on my balcony, and I think it was about 50 feet, and I couldn't see anything except gray. I couldn't see any of the buildings around. I couldn't see the city at all. Then 10 minutes later, it cleared up. Apologize ahead. I'm going to be coughing a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on. I've been sick on and off for the last couple of weeks. I keep getting this fever, and it all kind of centers around this sore throat. You know, it's a little hoarse and then goes away and then it comes back. Don't know what's going on. Kind of driving me crazy. The fever has been bad. I don't have any other symptoms of anything, just sore throat, high fever for 2 or 3 days, goes away. Everything's fine. Yeah, but here we are. So bear with me. Okay, today's video is going to be, I'm going to try to limit it to 30 minutes. I don't want it to be any longer. I don't want it to be drawn out, partly because of my throat and partly because I got a few things going on. Good morning from Canada. Hello in Armenia. Awesome. Good morning. Alfredo, are you in Armenia? Coleman, hello. How you doing? Howard, good morning. It's funny, you know, I uploaded this overview of Bucaramanga video a few weeks back. It was the first one in the series, and it was pretty popular. Got something like 100 comments on it, and did quite well in the views. And then was it this morning or late last night? I get a message telling me, good video, but didn't you already have this one? Now, this is the second time this has happened in about a month where a video that I've done has been re-uploaded. And I went back and the original video is still there. I don't know why, but it was re-uploaded. And the strange thing is, it's not even the same title. It's partly the same title. It just says Bucaramanga Overview. It doesn't have the date. It doesn't have first in the series or whatever that original title was. I don't know where these mystery uploads are coming from. Like I say, that's the second one in about a month. It's a little unnerving. Sebastian, good morning. Angel from Rio Negro. Okay. What else have I got here? Talked about my throat. Oh, another reason I'm going to be cutting it short today, besides I keep getting this message. I think it's from the same person who every time I do one, they say, it's too long, it's too long. Well, it's not too long if people are asking questions and they keep asking questions and are getting answers. But today I'm meeting somebody for lunch, and somebody from here in Armenia, and I don't want to be late for that, although there's no chance of it. We're having lunch across the street of the mall, so it's a 2-minute walk for me. But today we're going to talk about a couple news stories. Now, first one was a week ago, and I didn't see it in the paper. I was gonna show it to you, and a week ago I wanted to talk about it, but I forgot. There was a big drug bust, I guess you'd say. It was a drug gang here operating here in Armenia and Calarca, and they captured 21 people. I understand that one they let go, maybe got kind of swept up in it and didn't really apply or something, but 20 people were arrested, and they're all part of this what do you call it, this operation. Yeah, English, it's getting hard to remember English. It was part of this operation that was ongoing for a number of weeks, and they were under surveillance. They're watching people come and go, and so they grabbed them all. They collected up some weapons, not a lot, but a couple weapons, drugs, and they're going to stand trial and probably go away for a long time. I did live there before with a girlfriend. I'm from the U.S. also. I'm going to Colombia this month. I should clean my glasses, but thinking to revisit Armenia or Manizales. 40, damn, thank you, appreciate it. That's a pretty hefty contribution. Look me up if you make it here. Water for the throat. I had my coffee this morning, and as you know, I just drink 1 cup a day. It was especially good this morning. Okay, so there was that, and I got all flustered with a big contribution there. And then we have, what do we got here? In the local paper, or Condillo paper, Condillo News, there's 120 free internet digital centers in Condillo in rural areas that's being set up. It'll be, as it says, free of charge. Now, this has been an ongoing effort, and it's a national effort. They're going around and basically wiring up the entire country of Colombia. And now they're down to rural areas. And they had 50 some awarded for Condillo, but that was just increased. And some of these things I don't understand, because Colombia is having some real budget problems, as you can imagine, with COVID, all the extra expenses. But they've given some priority to wiring things up. Now, this won't be tomorrow. I guess it's the entire project is supposed to be completed by, well, another 10 years. Not necessarily these 120, but wiring up the entire country is planned. But for this year, they've added another 70 areas in Condillo. They had 50 already funded, but they added 70 more. And these actually run at a pretty good speed. They're running somewhere around 10 to 20, which pretty good for, especially for free. So that, that's good news. How old am I? What? How? Old enough. Don't you know that we're all vain about it? No, I'm 67. This was pretty interesting. Disney is releasing a movie this coming fall, I think September 2021, and it's named Encanto. And the movie is Disney-esque fantasy, cartoonish, magical family in a magical land, but it's very specifically about Colombia. They say it's about Colombia, but it appears that it's going to be placed, although cartoonish, it's going to be placed in the Cocora Valley, which you've seen in my videos before. It's a famous area, and it's got the wax palm trees, and you can go horseback riding, and there's all kinds of stuff. So it'll be a matter of pride that is taking place in Salento and Cocora Valley for a Disney movie. I mean, it's featuring Colombia. So that's pretty cool. On the other hand, I hope that doesn't mean a wave of people moving into Armenia. I mean, it's kind of just right now. There shouldn't be anybody after me. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, this comes up all the time. What's going on with COVID? And so Duque just extended the health emergency. We're kind of wondering because it expired November 30th and nothing happened for the last couple weeks. So nobody really knew what was going on, but he just extended it another 90 days. And it's been 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, but he just shot it out for 90 days. So how does that affect you? It doesn't really, because what's going on through a good portion of Colombia, or at least that I've traveled recently, is if you're traveling by plane or by bus, you're getting into the terminal, wash your hands and squirt stuff, and God knows why they spray your shoes, but it's not really holding anything up. You just kind of move right through. You have to wear your mask. Now on the bus to Bucaramanga and back, I'll tell you, it's seats next to you are empty, which is pretty cool. It's actually a good time to travel. You're supposed to wear your mask, but I'm not, I can't wear my mask for 13 hours. So, I would take it off. It was a night trip, but other people were doing it too. I mean, it's just it's not like you're moving around and bumping elbows with people. So you've got that going on. That's going to continue. But on your day-to-day, like here, the only way I see it is people wear masks when you're out walking around. Occasionally, you'll see somebody without one. Here in Armenia, nobody really says anything. I think I mentioned this before. It was a few weeks back. I left here and I went to a store and got something. I was walked back, and I had forgotten to take my mask. I didn't wear it. Nobody said a word. I mean, not even the guard in the building. Hey, you're leaving without a mask. You want it? Nobody cared. But it's a thing. And what else we got? Excuse me. Mask. Oh, the restaurants are all open, but they've spaced their tables out. And there's a few that I've seen have like these plastic partitions between the tables, which I don't know. It doesn't feel any different than before all of this now. I mean, for a while it was pretty draconian. It wasn't great, but it feels like it's gotten back to normal with a mask a lot of the time. So the requirement of a COVID test before you fly here, they rescinded that. They were talking about reinstating it, but that was shot down. So flying in, there's nothing really different. People are flying in every day with no problems. So it's extended for 90 days. That just means you're still going to have these protocols at the terminals and you're still supposed to wear your mask. But I don't know. It kind of sucks, but on the other hand, the way it's being done where I'm living here in Armenia, it's almost like big deal. Another, Fredo, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm 74 and think about moving to Colombia in the U.S. now, living in Ecuador. Yes, I know you. We met here in Armenia before. She came to Armenia and we had coffee, and not sure what your holdup is. You moved back to Ecuador and it didn't change. It's still exactly the reasons you didn't want to be there, but it can be very nice, and you can have a nice life in Ecuador. I mean, I tease and pick on Ecuador a lot. It's just not for me. But that's, the wonderful thing about this world is you've got so many choices about where to live. I mean, if you want to really be in hot weather, you can live in the Philippines. I lived there for a while. if you want to have a variety of weather and as modern as any place on this planet. I lived near Tokyo. I lived in Japan for just over 3 years, 3 years and a couple months. Loved it. Probably my favorite place. I just can't afford. I can't. I could afford to live there. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't be living there the way I would want to live there. And Colombia has always been right on the heels. I fell in love with Colombia 20 years ago when I first visited. I had this imagination going on, this dream, this fantasy of, it's so beautiful. Wouldn't it be awesome one day if I ever retire to go live there? And sure enough, I ended up here. So no COVID test. Nope, no COVID test. I would already be there, but COVID, yeah, I can kind of understand that. I think the borders are still closed. The land borders, I think, are still closed. Cuenca is pretty but cold. Manta is warm but not so pretty. Earthquakes. Yeah, Manta's kind of an interesting place. It's a semi-modern city, but it's small, and a lot of the buildings, are the building construction throughout Ecuador is really it's really sad. It's inferior building products. They're not built to any standard. Sidewalks will crumble a few years after being made. Walls will crumble. I mean, where I lived, the last place I lived, 2 blocks from my house, there was a house that was relatively new, and I would walk by that house every few days because it was on the way to Supermaxi that was just 5 blocks away. And one day I'm walking by, and it's like, what? I look over, it's like my peripheral vision saw something that wasn't right. And it was a double or triple take. I look over, and the 3rd floor had collapsed on this relatively new building. And so for the next number of months, I saw them rebuilding the 3rd floor. And you could certainly see why it collapsed. You could see the way they were mixing up the concrete and the wheelbarrow. There was no set amount of sand, gravel. I mean, there was no standard at all. It really depended on who was mixing it that day, and they were doing it by the wheelbarrow full. They used almost the iron stringers. What do you call them? The reinforcement rods. There was almost none used. It's really problematic, and seeing Manta just brings all that home, because that's most of the construction you see, and that's part of why that earthquake had such a huge effect. Hello from Switzerland. Hello, welcome back. It's raining a lot there. No more streets videos. Well, I'm not doing videos in Armenia because I've kind of done them to death. Now, there's a few things that I will probably do, but if you go back and look, I've done 100-some videos right here in Armenia, and short of going back and just redoing the same thing, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And there's just some neighborhoods that I just find absolutely no different than another neighborhood. So, kind of what's the point? So I'm doing videos on other things. What time is it? No, we're good on time. I did the last news story. Let me fix that. Get rid of that. Bear with me here. So we got about 10 minutes. So if you got questions, go ahead and, I've got to make it official. Hold on, people. It's Q&A time. It's time to start asking your questions. Remember, 4 question marks first, then ask the question. Okay, now it's official. What was I talking about? So like I say, there's lots of videos about Armenia, and to just go out and do the same thing just doesn't make any sense to me. I realize that you didn't see them, but there's quite a library. I've got a library of 520 some odd videos, and 100 of them or more are right here in Armenia. So, it's there. If you have anything specific you're interested in, shoot me off an email. I'm always willing to consider. It's not a hard and fast rule. It just, it's just that's the reason at this point. After Christmas, I will be going to another area and doing another video series. I'm struggling with a Bucaramanga series, partly because I just have been feeling terrible the last couple of weeks. I almost called off today, but after I had my coffee, I felt a little better, and figured I'd just proceed and hope my voice holds up. What's my monthly budget? Are you living high standards? My monthly budget, all in all, I probably have, it varies a little bit, but I probably have about $1,100 a month. When I was having some money problems a couple years ago, that was down around $800 a month. And I'll tell you, that was a struggle. But $1,100 a month, you've seen where I live. I live in a beautiful place. Rent is really cheap in Armenia, considerably cheaper than it's. Things here are about half of what they are in Medellin, for example. Manizales, maybe a little bit more. It's cheaper than Medellin, but it's a little bit more than Armenia. Armenia is probably the best cost of living for an actual city area in Colombia. My utilities, I don't know off the top of my head, figured maybe $100 for everything, including internet. I am in Stratus 5, so it's a little bit more than if we're in a lower Stratus. On the other hand, the convenience, the quality of living, just that huge balcony. I mean, I'm really happy and really content in this place, and I don't regret being here at all, and I don't regret paying a higher cost than I was paying before. Food, it's kind of hit and miss, but you're probably going to spend a few $100s a month. $1,100. I'm living quite well. I don't have a lot of extra money, but I have enough for this, that, and the other thing. I bought a new set of sheets and a blanket for the room where when I start having guests come here through this channel for 1, 2, or 3 days, I've got this beautiful blanket, new sheets, set up kind of nice. So, yeah, I would say if you're $1,000 to $1,100 and you're living in Armenia, you're going to do really well. If you were living in Medellin, you're probably going to add another $500 or $600 to that. Is that my Jeep? No, it's not my Jeep. That's at a coffee farm very near here that is set up and designed for people to come, and it's like a tourist thing. It's really interesting. You should come Canada, enjoy the snow. Yeah, I've had enough snow. I lived in upstate New York and spent a lot of time in Canada. Thanks, but no thanks. What's my monthly budget? Just kind of covered that. Why didn't you fly to Bucaramanga? Our flight's very expensive. Well, as I just explained, I've got a budget, and it's great for my day-to-day living. But things like that, first of all, I don't mind taking the bus. The bus is fine as far as I'm concerned. There's no big attraction. I mean, I can't say I am now because it's expired, but I spent a good portion of my life as a pilot. When I was in the Marines, I was in helicopters, but I had a private license. And so after I got out of the Marines, I flew quite a bit. When I was doing consulting work, I was flying all over the country, living out of Ramada Inns. Flying doesn't do anything for me. I'm not thrilled with the way airports are. They're kind of a hassle. I don't know. It just doesn't hold any attraction for me unless there's a real reason. Like if I was going to Japan, obviously I would fly and not take a boat. But here, there's little adventures when you take a bus. There's little things that keep me entertained or keep me smiling. And for me, it's less of a hassle. Plus, you add to the fact it's way cheaper to take a bus than it is to fly. Even here in Colombia, where flying inside Colombia is really inexpensive. But buses are even cheaper, and the buses they have here, you get plenty of leg room. It's I don't know. I enjoy the buses. If I was in a real hurry and somebody were sponsoring it, which happens sometimes, part of that trip had a sponsor for the hotel. If I have a sponsorship and I'm tight for time, then I would consider an airplane. But aside from that, no. Is your voice of invest in? I don't understand what you're saying. Is your voice of invest in Armenia video? I don't follow. How does it compare to Pareda on cost of living? Similar. Some things more, some things less. Overall, about the same. Anybody that watches this for any period of time knows that I'm not a Pareda fan. I lived there before for nearly a year, and I would spend my weekends in Armenia. This was some time ago, but to me, it's just not for me. Doesn't mean it's not for you. Doesn't mean it's not awesome. It's just not for me. Hope you're feeling better soon. You know what to do to build up your immune system. Yeah, I hear you. And when you were here, that's when, it hit me right after that. And it's been coming and going. You haven't heard me talk about me being sick, for the couple of years I've been in Armenia. So, I mean, it just doesn't happen very much. And what happens, even when people around here that they get the flu and I'm exposed to it, I might feel like crap for a day and then it goes away. I've actually got a pretty good immune system. But I don't know, every once in a while, we get caught up with something. There's something going on. If anybody knows what he's trying to say about is your voice of invest in Armenia, let me know. Is Spanish language instruction available in Armenia, Kalarka, small group instruction? They have a language exchange group, but from what I understand, it's 30 or 40 people, or it was before COVID. It would also be really easy to hire a private tutor. Cost you the equivalent of about, let's say $5 a lesson. I had one just to try, for video, and I talked about it and introduced the girl who was doing it and interviewed her and her friend. She's an English student at the University of Quindío, and I bought a refrigerator off her father, and that's how I met her. And so I got some lessons from her. We all learn in different ways. The only way I learn, I'm just kind of rock-headed, is to be out and around, and that's how I pick up. And I can go out and have very basic conversations. I can accomplish pretty much anything I need unless it were really complicated. So I just... I've never worried about the language thing because I've traveled so much to so many different countries with different languages, and you just don't know them, but you learn how to communicate. You learn how to have a certain confidence in things. And so it's never really been a hang up for me. I mean, I talk about it because people ask me, and, it comes in time. I don't know why it's taking so long. When I lived in Japan, well, I know why there, but I was fluent in a year. I don't say that lightly. I was fluent. But then again, Japanese is a very easy language and nothing changes. It's always exactly the same. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's plenty of studies that say ivermectin. Okay. Are you living in northern Armenia? Yes. Are you using local transportation? You have a vehicle? I have a vehicle, not using it. The only reason I got the vehicle was when you people come here. So there's a vehicle for hire if you need it. I don't need, living in Armenia, there's no need for a vehicle. It's almost a problem. Local transportation is too simple. I can take a taxi across town for a couple dollars. There's buses all over the place. But most of what I do is mostly I walk to where I want to go because I'm living in a place where I can walk to everything. I live in the north, on the west, or on the east side, along the river that separates Calarca and Armenia, on Centenario, Carrera 6. So I live actually attached to the Klima Mall, so you can find it on Google. Do you have a girlfriend? I do not have a girlfriend. I have a number of friends that are female. Most of my friends are female. I've only got, I think, 4 male friends, maybe 5. I don't know if I call them a friend. A couple, well, one gringo that lives here. We're friends, but I'm kind of antisocial, so we see each other once every 4 months or so. But girlfriend in particular, no, not really. I could, as old and ugly as I am, it would be very easy to have a girlfriend. There's a couple that I know that are always joking about that, but no. Are there places to live in Pereira where it's not very congested? Sure. Okay, so I think that's it. We're going to end it here. Thank you all. I appreciate it. We're pretty close to 30 minutes, just 3 minutes over. I'll see you next week. Ciao.